Hi there, I just want to show you something special that I'm really excited about, and that is this little bad boy right here. Are you allowed to be a little bad boy, or do you have to be a big bad boy? I don't know. This is my artist sketchbook from Baohong and Rockwell Watercolor, and I want to show it to you. I'm just getting to know it. You can see it's not small. Nice big sketchbook. I've been developing a sketching practice that I'm really excited about. It's taken so many years, but I want to show you a little bit about how I approach sketching that has worked for someone who has been a sketching averse artist for so many years. And so I'm going to show you a little bit about that. I'm going to show you how the sketchbook works for me and how I make it work for my artistic practice. First of all, let's just take a look at the sketchbook itself. This is the artist sketch paper pad. It is 11.7 by 8.3 inches. It's about A4 size then, I believe. And it's 100% cotton paper. The paper is made by Baohong, and Rockwell has combined with them to create this sketchbook. You can see my wonderful little logo here on the bottom. And I've got a little bio on the inside so you can see a painting of mine, and then the sketchbook. So first of all, loving the paper. It's not thin. It's a beautiful weight for a sketchbook. I'm liking the texture. It's pretty smooth. If you're a watercolor artist, it feels smooth for watercolor, but it does have a little bit of tooth to it, which is a lot of fun for a sketching practice. If I'm working with a pencil, I don't want the surface to be too slippery. I get enough graphite on my hands as it is. So I've just been getting to know it, playing with some of my favorite reference photos. This is a combination of graphite and a black, some kind of carbon pencil. And this bottom page is watercolor, water-soluble graphite, which I wanted to try because I do use a paintbrush for this. I am working wet, and you can see that it held up really quite nicely there. I love this graphite look because it gives so much beautiful texture. On the next page, I was just goofing around working with acrylic paint markers and some of that black carbon pencil and traditional pencil lead as well. It was really dark in my living room yesterday when I was working on this, so I was pleasantly surprised when I opened it this morning and saw some of this vibrant color peeking out because I was not feeling it last night. But a sketchbook should be, and this is where I think I've always stumbled in my creative practice, a sketchbook should be a permission to do anything kind of zone. And we get tripped up because social media has told us that sketchbooks should be beautiful and flawless. Just the other day, I was following an artist and she was going through her sketchbook. I think it was a watercolor sketchbook, and page after page of flawless paintings were just filling this book. Personally, I think that if you're filling your sketchbook with flawless pages, I'm actually going to feel a little cheated if I'm doing that, because flawless pages, beautiful paintings, I'm going to be wanting to frame them and exhibit them or sell them. And, they're locked into this beautiful sketchbook and, nobody's going to get to see them. I guess they're good for the social media feed. But, really, I want my sketchbook to be a development space, a space that allows me to grow as an artist and try out ideas. That's why I'm not going to feel any shame about what I'm posting, painting in my sketchbook, what I'm playing with. No idea is too radical and or too dumb, truthfully. And no painting is too ugly to be a valid part of my sketchbook if I am thinking about this as a developmental space. And so the 36 sheets in this book give me 72 opportunities to learn something. And that's my priority. That's what I want to do. I want to see how well this beautiful 100% cotton paper holds to watercolor. It's not a watercolor paper. It's a little bit thinner, a little bit smoother. So I don't have, I recognize that it's going to be a working method that's not necessarily optimum for watercolor. But I love the idea of being able to bring some watercolor into my sketching practice. And so I always want to have a feel for how that's going to flow. One thing I've really learned about a sketching practice that's really freeing is I actually can even just hold my pencil differently. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'm actually inspired by these studies on this side, that massive trees. There's a little distant landscape in behind it. And this is a subject that's very familiar to me. I paint this view all the time. This is home. I'm just going to start with a neutral. This is Sea Blue Black, kind of an equivalent to Payne's Gray. And we're just going to continue in this sketchy mindset. Let's go straight across, actually. Sketchy mindset. I don't know what that is. I'm going to add a separation here, my trees. The neo color that I'm using is the sepia color. I'm going to come back with my neo color again and just bring in some further line. And this is where the sketchbook becomes really, really, really fun. Because in a sketchbook, this is where you should have, again, no rules. Sometimes it's amazing how often I have I'm painting away and I look at what's on hand beside me and I have an interesting new tool or shape to bring into the painting practice. This is a blue aquarelle. These are made by Lyra. This is the Neo Color. This is the Lyra brand, and I actually like the Neo Color better. Lyra what was available at my local art supply store, and so I'm using both. But I think the Aquacolor actually have more intense pigment. I'm quite liking the orange that I mixed here using the gold ochre and this red jean. Find some ways to put that in. I'm thinking about fresh snow, but still fall colors underneath the snow. Just the changing seasons. One of my favorite times of year where you get to see a little bit of both. This is a glass pen. It's made to be dipped into ink. So we're going to try using it with watercolor. Just as an opportunity to bring in some very crisp line. Pen is going to make a crisper line. And if you're having trouble with the glass pen and you don't have an inkwell to dip it in, you can apply ink or paint to it with your brush. And that was too much, left to drip. That's okay, we can use it. Of course, you want to think about, oh, I kind of like those drips falling off the brush. Let's do that again in another place. Two extremes. And just what I'm doing right now is a little different. When I have drawn tree branches in the past, I tend to draw them very straight. And doing a little bit of a seeking wobbly line just to see if I can get away with it. Loving, loving, loving these lines. I don't know why they're so exciting to me, but it's still watercolor, and that's the other thing. Sometimes I want to still be using watercolor. I love watercolor. It's my love of my life, and one of the loves of my life, anyhow. And yet sometimes it just seems like the mixed media artists are having all the fun. So if I can find something that I can use watercolor with this lovely pen, you know, that's going to be super exciting. Let's throw more red in that. It's going to open up my art practice whenever I can see a new way of drawing, painting, showing freedom and playfulness. Those are things that I love seeing in my work. Okay, so far this has been the most exciting thing I've painted in my Rockwell sketchbook yet. I'm excited to be filling up the book with more of this playful practice. I want to also point out that I'm not complaining about what the watercolor is doing on the paper. It does move a little differently. The paper is buckling a little bit. It is going to make my book a little bit ripply, but I'm okay with that. I love bringing in a little water, a little moisture to my drawings. This means that I could go back to my pencil sketches and add more watercolor and really take it wherever I wanted. Now, if you want to get your hands on one of these Rockwell sketchbooks, You can find them at rockwellart.ca. You can order your very own. And the thing that I really like about these is they are going to be a great accompaniment for my watercolor sketchbooks that I use. I like the I have a lot of sketchbooks that are kind of disposable. They've got craft covers, spiral bindings. You know, they're made to be filled and very utilitarian. I love the faux leather of the book, the firm binding. And, you know, this is really sturdy. And so if I throw this into my backpack, it's not going to, you know, the corners aren't going to get crumpled. It's going to hold up really well as I fill it over time. And to me, that's important. If you're going to have a lot of pages in a sketchbook, you want it to be durable as well. So I just want to take a look now that it's dried, and really kind of happy with this. This could be pulled out of the book and framed. You know, that's one thing that I want to look for with the sketchbook is, you know, if I'm doing a sketch that I'm happy with and the paper holds up, then, you know, we can do stuff with it. We can frame it, we can mount it. And so, you know, it's nice to be able to see that. It's also nice when you can add a bit of watercolor to your sketchbook, just because it helps me then translate something like this into a larger painting. And so, you know, sketchbooks, the ideal purpose for me of a sketchbook is to aid my own painting development process. And so my sketchbooks are going to be full of little studies where I'm looking to simplify my subject so that I can develop it into a painting. And, you know, I want to have an energy and a freedom here so that I can bring some experimentation here and then also bring that into my painting. I never know personally what the etiquette is for whether or not this side of the sketchbook should be used or not. And I kind of go back and forth with that because it is a little bit rippled after adding the watercolor. I might decide not to and just work on this page. One thing you can do as well is think about the left side of the book, maybe as a place for taking notes, doing a little bit of planning for your painting practice.